Okay, this would just be a little video for I put together this simple little leveling script using some other YouTubers' videos, and I'll show it to you real quick. So when you hit the blue cube, you're going to get EXP. Right now you get 10 each time, but you get 10, and then when you level up, it adds 1 to the max amount that you need. But you can see that you're leveling and the EXP bar is tracking. Very, very simple, and I just wanted to figure out what a leveling system would kind of look like or how it would function. So this is what I had put together, and again, most of this is just I watched other people's videos and basically just did what they told me to do, and some little idiosyncrasies I changed, but this is using some scriptable objects and a scriptable object event system. So I use int variable, float variable, and those are scriptable objects. So in the variables, I have the current EXP, max EXP, player level, and player movement to how fast I want the guy to move. These are reference scripts so I can what was I using those for? Oh yeah, if I wanted to use a constant value or the variable value, you could reference these. You could make a variable off the float reference, but you couldn't. I only have like a getter, so I can't set it, but I could return the constant or the variable value, depending on if you wanted to do things that way. But the coolest part that I thought was the event system. So game event listener, you can basically chuck this script onto one of your objects. I have it's not on this object, but I have the serialized field game event, which is here. Most of this is straight up just copy paste from other people's videos, but you make a scriptable object game event, and then that will allow you to drag an event that you have as a scriptable object. So here I have gain EXP, level up, and remove EXP. This one's not implemented, but so on my blue cube here, I'm just able to drag the gain EXP event, and that gets defined here, player trigger, and in my on trigger enter, if my player enters the trigger for the blue cube, then player trigger raise, which is the event. I raise the event, and I structured the event system so that you can send in who's sending the event or who's triggering the event. In this case, it would be the blue cube, and then I can send in an argument, which game event. So yeah, component sender, right? So the who's sending it, and then the data that you're sending in, object data. And I guess object just allows you to pass in whatever data that you want to pass in. It's very generic. So my blue cube will pass in the XP I have for the blue cube, which at this point is 10. So when the player enters the trigger, the blue cube raises this event, and then I have other objects which are listening. In my case, it's over here, player campus, player level, parent. In my case, I just have a parent object housing the basically the EXP bar. So then you can I'll go into this script. This is the event listener script. So I have the game event and the custom game event response, and the custom game event was done so that you can structure a Unity event to pass in arguments. So the component, which would be who's raising the event, and then the data that you want to have. So in this case, the event listener, right? This is just a script that you can throw on whatever. I have two here for the EXP bar. One to update the player level, and one to update the EXP, the current EXP or whatever. So the game event, it listens for the gain EXP game event. So it's listening. Anything that triggers this will provoke this response here. So then this is the Unity game event, and this was structured and renamed to custom game event or whatever, so that you can pass in the arguments. So in this case, now this player level parent doesn't need any references to the triggers with the blue cube or the player or the EXP or what have you. All it does is it listens for this event being raised, which happens when this is triggered by the player, and then I can say on the EXP logic script, which is up here, I want it to do gain EXP, the method that I have in the EXP logic script, which is just gain EXP here. So you put your logic in your method, or whatever this is, the function, for what you want it to do when an event is triggered, and then you define that here. So player level parent, you need the game object reference, and then in the script here, game object EXP logic. So this is the script, and then you can say do this method. So the method has to be public, and I guess the class or the script has to be public too to do that. So same thing with the level up. I just execute the logic into level up, which is basically, that's all I'm doing here. At the start, I just run these instantly, and then I also have a reset somewhere, because with scriptable objects, if I don't reset, which I get it's probably in the level up script on disable reset level. So if I don't do this, then as I'm running the scene, the scriptable object values will remain changed. And people like scriptable objects because of that functionality. You can use them in between scenes. You don't have to worry about them getting reset like a variable or whatever in a certain script. The scriptable object is outside of the script, and this just came together really nicely. And I'm learning all this stuff, so it was really cool to see that I could modify things and adjust variables on different scripts without needing a reference to those. I don't have any references here to anything except the scriptable objects. So the game event is a scriptable object. These are scriptable objects, and so this level system script exists independently of all the other objects or scripts in the game, aside from your scriptable object scripts, essentially. So I won't go into too much detail about this, but the YouTubers that I found was like BMO, and I just searched on YouTube like Unity C# scriptable objects and looked at different implementations of that. But I really like how the variable scriptable objects come together, and the fact that you can just create, like I could just go in here and create another variable, and for example like my current EXP, max EXP, all of these would just be scriptable object assets that I could modify or change. And same with the event. So I don't think that I'll need another game event type, because that one's just a generic slap on anything and then choose your trigger and choose your response. But I thought that was really cool, and hopefully I can integrate this into the main game that I'm working on, and then probably I'm gonna do some other things like this, like the attribute system, and they'll just be like self-contained projects that should work independently, and hopefully I can integrate those into the main project. But just a quick little video showing how this all came together, and something that was really cool to me. I never really used the observer pattern before, so events are awesome. It's really funny to think that I was trying to do the whole game without using the observer pattern at all. Obviously my code is all spaghetti over there, and I'll have to do a major refactor implementing some of these things that I learned here. But it's definitely something that I can't see like a project coming together without the observer pattern, and I really like these scriptable objects and how they're implemented here. So anyway, that's the video.